Just a quick one on boosters. Why did the president say in August, just remember as a simple rule, 8 months after your second shot, get a booster shot if there is not enough data to support that for the general population?
Well, what the president also said is that, I want to be very clear, the plan is pending the FDA conducting an independent evaluation of the safety and effectiveness of a third dose of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines and the CDC's advisory committee. We are right now in the week of September 20th. The advisory committee is meeting on Thursday. We've seen some recommendations that we felt was a step forward in providing more protection to people across the country, and we'll wait for that process to play out. Our objective and our role is to ensure we have the capacity, the number of shots to provide them to the American people.
Here's what I don't understand. How conservative media outlets like Fox News can spend so much time supposedly being outraged over dates and what one person said one day that didn't come to pass the next, and not outraged over the fact that we are losing nearly a 9/11's worth of Americans every single day. Honestly, Peter Doocy represents the biggest conservative media outlet in the United States. He has the opportunity to use his limited time in the briefing room to shine a spotlight on how that massive audience can take steps to survive. And yet instead, he tries to land some tired gotcha question on why Joe Biden said boosters will be available when they don't have an answer yet. Imagine if Peter Doocy spent even a fraction of the energy he spends trying to prove hypocrisy in a single sentence Joe Biden said on the actual pandemic itself. Imagine if he or Fox News spent it actually worrying about the number of people dying from the virus instead of this Democratic administration's efforts to get people protected from it. According to Fox News, everything is a crisis except for the pandemic itself. But hey, why focus on that when they can shriek about a timeline discrepancy? And by the way, in terms of that supposed discrepancy between Biden's claims that everyone would be able to get boosters 8 months after their initial shots, while Doocy is falling over himself to prove Biden wrong, our health agencies haven't even met yet to make a decision. If you're going to predicate your entire press briefing questioning on trying to prove that Biden is wrong, at least do the bare minimum and wait for confirmation first. And by the way, with all of that said, even if Biden is ultimately proven to have gotten it wrong, let's try and remember that things change. This is an unprecedented situation that we're in right now, and what was true in February of 2020 isn't necessarily going to be true for February of 2021 or September of 2021. But the important thing here is that the people in charge of our health agencies are acting in good faith and giving the best information that they have at that time. So look, at the beginning of this pandemic, the best information that we had about masks, for example, was that there was a limited supply and that regular people shouldn't use them because we didn't want to take that supply away from healthcare workers. That ended up changing. That doesn't mean that Dr. Fauci is a liar. It doesn't mean that Democrats just decided that they would get off on controlling everyone. It means that at that time we had certain information, and then as we learned more, the information changed and so did the guidance. But we'll continue to get the best advice that the experts can give, and not all of that advice will pan out and some of it will change, but that doesn't mean that they're not operating in good faith. But when Republicans like Peter Doocy try and exploit old statements to make someone look like a hypocrite, that is decidedly not being done in good faith, and that is the difference. The best information that we have right now is that it's likely that we'll need boosters. And so Joe Biden's statement is expressly to prepare us for that possibility so that if and when they're approved, this isn't the first time that we're hearing about it. But Peter Doocy's priority is desperately searching for some way to pretend to be outraged and to frame Biden as a liar, because it's not about public health, it's about politics. And besides all of this, just remember that we wouldn't even be having this conversation about boosters if everyone simply got the vaccine. But because so many people, overwhelmingly Republicans, chose not to, well, now suddenly we have to have this conversation as the virus continues to mutate and the pandemic continues to remain a part of our daily lives. And again, the fact that the details of a booster shot are more of a crisis for Peter Doocy than the fact that we even need booster shots because Fox has persuaded its own audience not to take any vaccine should tell you just how much credibility that outlet has on this issue. And if Fox's complicity here was in doubt, this should make the damage that they've done abundantly clear.
How many Americans have died after taking the COVID vaccines? That's not Americans who've been killed by the virus. That's a huge number. It's how many Americans have died after getting the vaccines designed to prevent the virus. Do you know the answer to that question?
Is COVID-19. The origin is the top story, but the focus of this administration on vaccination is mind-boggling.
But you're right, the explosion of cases they've seen in the last few weeks has really been in the setting of getting to nearly fully vaccinated. It went up 5 to 10-fold, so it's almost as if the vaccine invited this explosion of cases.
Going door to door, this is creepy stuff. You know, someone comes up to your door outside wearing a mask, showing up at your house claiming to work for the government, asking you personal medical questions. The risks of vaccines to young children may be even worse than we thought.
Can HHS force you to take antibiotics for your TB? How about Xanax for your anxiety, Thorazine for your mania? And while we're at it, why are we letting irresponsible, defective people reproduce? Vagrants, mental patients, even QAnon people, all are allowed to have children. Why is that? Why aren't we sterilizing them? Sound crazy?
I think vaccination ought to be completely prohibited in anybody under age 30. That would simplify the picture greatly.
The fact is that Doocy and Fox and the rest of the party that they represent lost any credibility in this pandemic a long, long time ago. They have zero interest in solving it, only exploiting it to help themselves politically. And Doocy's faux outrage over boosters is all the proof you need that they have no intention of changing that. If you enjoyed that video and you're looking for a deeper dive, check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. It's a no BS look at the top stories of the week, along with interviews with the top names in politics, like Vice President Kamala Harris, Jen Psaki, Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Katie Porter, Pete Buttigieg, and more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Also, if you want to see more videos like this one, click the subscribe link right here on this screen to join the more than 1 million people who've already subscribed to my channel. And finally, to donate to my Don't Be a Mitch fund, where I'm raising money for a whole raft of different voter outreach and voter registration groups in the closest states ahead of midterms in 2022, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Texas. You can find that link on this screen as well. Thanks for watching.